All right. Moona's Magica is here with a tutorial on how to make silver tensor technology. So I've been starting to work with silver. So let's get into it. All right, so just like the copper wire, there is actually many differences to the silver. So right here we have pure 999 silver. Let's check it out. This is 16 gauge. Silver wire is pretty expensive, but it's very beautiful to work with. Alright, excited about this tutorial. I've made some rings so far, and the silver feels really majestic, very feminine, very light. The soldering process is a lot more of a finesse than the copper. The copper is very masculine, like torch it and just get your rods and go into it, but this, we want to work with gentleness and softness. All right, excited to share this video with you. I haven't really been on Tensor Tech videos for a month and a bit, so let's get back to it. Shoo! So the material that we need that is not with the copper brazing, this is the silver solder flux right here. So we're gonna need this, and we're gonna need some silver wire to solder our sides together, and obviously our silver wire. So the same thing, you're gonna twist your wire just like the copper. Because we're using a 16 gauge, you won't need to anneal it, but I would suggest that if you're working with silver and it's around the 12, 14, 10 gauge, you'll want to anneal the wire. So you'll want to soften it before you twist it, but because this is 16 gauge, we're just gonna go right away and start twisting. So we'll see you at the twisting station. This is the fun part, deciding what we want to make. I'm thinking for this tutorial, let's do the 333 megahertz bracelet. I think that'd be nice. We'll see how much wire comes out of this. I think this is 15 feet. I have to double check, but let's get twisting. So same thing with the copper, is you're gonna just crimp your two ends. We're gonna do a double twist with this, because 16 gauge is pretty thin. We'll see how much we get out of it. So we're crimping our two ends, and we're gonna even it out. So this is what we've got with the crimped ends. All right. So we're hooking the end there. This is what we've got. Get it in the drill. We're gonna put our chi, our life force, into the wire as we twist, just like this. So on the twist 1, it's going to be a loose twist, as we've learned. Okay, we're going to take it out. We're going to snip our ends. And with the silver wire, the extra, you're going to just want to put it to the side and save it because you can recycle it. Okay, so now we're crimping the ends again. And we're going to go for twist number 2. It goes together like a horse and cart. Alright. We've now hooked it, and we're gonna go for twist number 2. Let's go. Beauty. Alright, so this is our 16 gauge double twisted 999 silver wire. We're going to measure our cubit. We're doing the 333 megahertz earth core cubit. So it's 19.65, which is the earth core measurement. We're going to divide that by 2 for the bracelet, and we're going to measure our cubit right there. As always, you're going to file one end perfectly flat. Okay. We're gonna butt this end, and we're going to cut our earth core measurement. Okay, so there's our wire. This is now cut to the 333. I've got a cylinder here to start to shape. So now we're shaping our ring. And I've got some pliers here with no teeth. So you're gonna want these for working with silver so you don't damage any of the wire. And just in general, these are good pliers when you're making jewelry. You're not gonna put any teeth into the wire. So a key tip about working with silver is you're gonna want your two ends meeting perfectly, and I'll show you an example. Just like with the copper, as perfect as you can get your two ends, this is a big key. With the silver, 100% you want to do this. The copper is not a make or break, but this is one of the key tips. So see how flat that is? That's what we're looking for. We want the ends to be perfectly touching. Just like that. All right, let's get to merging the wire. So a key with this process is you want to make sure your wire is completely cleaned at the joints. So let's make sure that's cleaned up from oil from the fingers or anything that's got on the wire. So let's clean that up. So I've got a nice piece of cloth, and we're going to give this a wipe. And I have a cement block right here that we're going to use for the soldering process. Alright, so making sure our ends are perfect. Grabbing our flux right here. Applying the flux. Okay. So we're gonna get a light torch going. First step is we're gonna heat up our joint and let the flux melt and watch it bubble. Just like that. So now it's getting hot. We're gonna now heat up the rest of the ring to keep an even heat. Now we're gonna come back to our joint and apply the flux. And just like that, very simple, very gentle. So here we've got some citric acid, which is our pickle. We're gonna put a little bit of this in some warm water. Now we can get our ring, place it in the pickle, and let that sit for a few minutes. Okay, so our ring is in the pickle. Let's go over the key tips here for creating a silver tensor ring. Basically, it's the same process as the copper. The keys are you want to make sure your two ends are completely flat and that the metal is completely cleaned, all the oil, all the grease is off of it. You want to apply some flux, heat up with a low torch, very low, heat up your flux, and keep an even heat for your whole ring. Once you see the flux start to bubble, that's when you're going to come in with your silver solder and just a light, gentle finesse dab. And that's really it. It's a very gentle process. It's actually easier to do the silver soldering than the copper brazing once you get the technique down. I would suggest trying with some scrap metal for your first silver soldering, because the first time I did it, I completely did not know the technique and I melted the silver wire. So you'll want to do some research or get some tips from this video. And yeah, hope that this has served you for creating the silver tensor technology. And we're gonna clean up our ring here and I'll show you what the finishing creation looks like. So because I knew what I was doing, I just heated up the joint so the whole ring stayed nice and clean. There's something called a buff polish that you can do with silver wire. It almost looks like a mirror finish. For this video, we're gonna just keep it simple. And it's been sitting in the citric acid for about 5 minutes. So what we can do is grab a little wire brush right here and just give the joint a little bit of a polish. We don't have to do the whole ring because it stayed nice and clean. And this is it. This is a 333 megahertz double twisted 999 silver tensor ring. So this is a good bracelet size, kind of like a bangle fit. Show you what it looks like here. This is a 16 gauge. And yeah, have fun exploring the silver and leaving you in happiness, harmony, and joy. One love. Oh yeah, by the way, these new furniture pieces are coming into creation. So these are available. We've put a 333 megahertz double size ring around here with a piece of wood and some triskelions. It's got a layer of orgonite. So just wanted to share these. You can email me, moonasmagica@gmail.com, for inquiries. And check this out. That's how the finish looks. Nice and fresh.